Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Football Fignuts podcast. This is Season 8, Episode 6, and if you've been keeping track at home, that's 316 episodes of total goodness. My name is Britt, and I'm back.
I'm Craig, and I'm still here.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Cinch, and I'm here to tell you why the Patriots need to start Drake
No,
May.
listen, buddy.
Not just
Listen,
Kobe
you
Bryant.
can't have
when your
pumpkin
team
beer
is bad and you're
in
not going to make
August.
the
You just
playoffs,
can't have pumpkin
you got to
beer in
start
August.
some rookies. You got to see what you've got.
All right. Enough. I'm back 30 seconds, and you're already complaining at each other. It must be Roundtable Day.
Don't.
It is Roundtable Day, folks. We have all four of our guys in the house to talk about drafting and what they expect out of the season and betting and all that fun stuff. But first, we must begin where we always begin. Let's start with Craig. Craig, what are you drinking tonight?
So tonight, to celebrate the Roundtable, I have bourbon whiskey, small batch. This is the Dragon Milk Origin that I had a couple weeks ago on the podcast, so I'm having it again.
Is it as good as the stuff we had this weekend at Sean's?
It's different.
Do you remember having drinks at Sean's?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I was the last one there.
I heard you left at like 1:30.
I helped him clean up. Look, this is what happened, okay? I was like, I'm going to get going soon. He's like, hey, don't you want to do a draft first?
Oh,
so I let him pick I let him pick a best ball draft, and for some reason, and I don't know why, it was a normal, like, it should have gone pretty quick because we did one before this, and it was probably like, what, 10, 15 minutes?
Something like that.
We did this one, and it literally took like almost an hour, and I don't know why.
Because time moves differently when Sean tricks you into having that extra drink. Cinch, what are you drinking tonight?
I have some Jim Beam Black Cherry infused whiskey.
Ooh,
Interesting.
That is my new favorite drink.
Mm.
I could down that stuff like doesn't even taste like alcohol.
Oh,
Wow.
do you have it on ice? Add a little Coke?
I do.
Cherry Coke?
No, just with some ice.
All right, nice.
Just take it. All right, cool. Sean, what are you drinking?
I am about to open a can that Craig brought over for us. Rosemary's Spawn, which is a pumpkin maple pecan ale.
Pumpkin maple pecan ale.
Yep.
Has anyone tried that yet?
Yes,
I'm
we
about
did.
to.
We tried it on Saturday. It was interesting. Very sweet. Very sweet, in my opinion.
Let's see what Sean thinks.
Yeah, let's see what Sean thinks of it.
I like it. It has. You can definitely taste the maple in it,
Mm-hmm.
and the rosemary's in it. Not so much pecan. I don't taste that very much.
Yeah,
But it's a sweeter Rosemary's Baby.
Does it
Pretty
taste
much.
like they put syrup in it?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Interesting.
I am about to open a traditional Rosemary's Baby now.
It's too soon, people.
It's not
August.
too soon. It's the 21st of August.
Yeah.
You know why
it's
it's
August.
too soon? It's too soon because I don't have one.
That's fair. That's fair. Listen. My wife brought up a great point on this, Craig. So you are entitled to your opinion because it's America.
Yeah.
But listen,
Yep.
my wife brought up one great point.
Yeah.
The other day, we're sitting around, and the news broke that Phil Donahue died. I didn't even know Phil Donahue was still alive.
He used to live in Westport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife looks at me and says, "Do you realize if Phil Donahue prescribed to Craig's no pumpkin beers before September 1st theory, he would have died without being able to have a pumpkin beer?"
Yeah,
And
but
I
he
said,
probably
"You're
would
right."
have had one last year, so it's fine.
So he
It's
missed
not
out
like
on
he
his
never.
last
It's like he
chance.
never had it.
Does anyone know
missed
how
out on his
old he
last
was?
He was in like
88.
91. Oh, that's close.
88.
Okay.
I thought he was way older than that because he retired like 30 years ago.
He did.
Hey, good for him. Made his money and he got out.
That's
That's it.
true. That's true.
That's it. He saw the Jerry Springer era coming, and he was like, "Fuck this, I'm out. I'm out." All right, everybody's got a drink. Let's move on to some roundtable topics. I'm going to lead off the conversation tonight because I sent each of you a request. I said to each of you, I want you to go onto the betting site of your choice and find a long shot bet. And I said 50 to 1 or plus 5,000, but it doesn't have to be that. Give me a long shot bet for the season upcoming. Let's start with Sean because he was busting my stones about it, and that's how I roll.
Well, since since it doesn't have to be the 4,000 or 5,000 plus 5,000.
Just a long shot. Give me a long shot.
There, well, I have the 5,000 as well. I actually have two now, so we can go there. First one is MVP, regular season MVP, and plus 5,000 for Kyler Murray. And of all the people that were 5,000 or higher or greater, he was the best bet there, I believe.
There's a lot of optimism in Arizona the last couple weeks, and I don't understand why.
Me either.
You're haters.
No, I'm a realist, sir.
You're a real hater.
The last 8 games last year, Kyler and blanking on his name. It's a tight end out there now.
Trey McBride.
McBride, thank you. They had a real connection. They started. Kyler looked pretty good. I know Craig will tell you he breaks down. He can't end the season, but maybe this year with weapons like Trey. I want to say Trey Benson. No, Trey McBride and Junior.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harrison Jr. How strong is that beer?
I'm dying here. that they could have. I mean, they have Zay Jones and Michael Wilson and
didn't Zay Jones get hurt?
Those guys are all
James Conner.
But they,
Okay.
Kyler can make it, and he still's got legs, so.
And he knows how to use them. Cinch, who do you like what kind of bet do you like for a long shot this year?
I don't have one because when you find a long shot that is that much of a long shot, chances are it's not going to hit. So a couple that I like the team over unders. The Raiders, last time I looked, were over under 5.5. I think that's an easy under. I can't see them winning 6 games. They've got the mustache and they've got Ian O'Connor at quarterback. And I mean, they didn't even try to get a quarterback. So to me, that's the same kind of thing as the Giants, where they both needed a quarterback and they didn't get one. So that tells me these are prime teams that you could see trying to tank this year if things get out of hand early. If you're looking at a 1-5, that's a rough start. And then all of a sudden, you know what? Maybe we should trade Devontae Adams and get whatever we can for him. Maybe we look into, hey, that veteran guy got banged up. We're gonna IR him for the rest of the season. And then the next thing you know, you're looking at the first pick of the draft. So I like the Raiders under, and the opposite end of that, I like the Denver Broncos over. They were, I think, 6.5 last time I saw. They named Bo Nix as the starter. Nix looked really good. I think he went 8 for 9 with a touchdown in this past week 2 preseason game. I think, I'm blanking on his name, the coach, Sean Payton. There you go.
Yeah.
Sean Payton identified this guy Nix and said, this is the guy that I want. He's the one that works best with what I want to do. They went out, they drafted him in the first round. I'm not telling you Denver's making the playoffs. But what I am saying is I could see them beating the teams they're supposed to beat and maybe picking off 1, maybe 2 of the teams that you wouldn't think they would beat.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the 2 that jumped out at me right off the top. And then one last thing, I always say an easy bet to make, maybe not easy, but a better chance of winning kind of bet is the regular season MVP. Forget every position except quarterback. Look at the top 5 guys, pick one. You got a real shot to win.
Okay. Craig, what do you got?
All right. So for me, I just followed Britt's instructions for a 50-1 bet. So unlike Cinch and Sean, who picked random bets to possibly equal, 50-1 odds.
I march by the beat of my own drum.
He's a rebel, Dottie. A loner.
Good movie. I picked a bet on FanDuel that seemed to me it's plus 5,000. It's absurd. But if you want to bet on it, I wouldn't stop you from it. So FanDuel has these bets called futures fusions. So they take 2 things put it together on one bet, and you can't really change it. So like example, kinda. So example, there's one bet here for plus 300 for the Lions to be the number 1 seed in the NFC, or the Houston Texans to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. Thanks. So that's the kind of bets these are. So you scroll down all the way down to the bottom. There's a plus 5,000 bet, and I would put $1 on this for Sean.
Is this the Bengal? Oh, it's for
No.
Sean. Okay.
No. See,
I know
Okay.
exactly what it is. I saw it too.
this is the Bears, the Chicago Bears, and the Washington Commanders need to combine for 25 or more regular season wins. It is plus 5,000.
Never
And
gonna happen.
now I'm not saying I am not saying who's going to win more games or how many they're going to win, but they have to win combined 25 games.
How many games are we letting both teams play in the season? Because if we go up to about 40, I might be on board.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. They're going to play 17 games. That means they're going to be combined minimum. What is that? 25-9.
One has to win 13. One has to win 12.
Oh dear.
Or-
Lord, it's not going to happen.
Or, one has
At
to win
least.
more and the other has to win less. But,
Yeah, it could be 15-10, but I don't think either team's getting a double-digit wins. Well, you know what?
have you seen? Really, have you seen the NFC East? It's not good. It's not good.
No, it's pretty ugly. All right, so I've got the best one of all, and I did put $1 on this. I just looked up and found most regular season passing yards. So this guy has to lead the league in passing yards,
It's Daniel Jones, isn't it?
and if he does, it's plus 10,000, and my $1.75 that I just put on it pays $176.
Okay.
Anthony Richardson.
Oh, that's not going to happen. He's going to run the ball more than he's going to pass the ball.
But it would happen more than Daniel
Maybe.
Jones. I would say the opposite.
Exactly. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying I had $1.75 in my pocket burning a hole, and this looked like the most likely thing to do.
Well,
But
I've
you're also
got
talking to a guy who bets on the hot dog contest.
plus, I think, 30,000 for the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. So, I mean, we'll just throw out crazy shit. I'll put that down. Sure.
Hey, if you're going to put $1 on it, it's worth talking about. That's what I'm saying.
So I also have one other one for 5,000 that I think could hit. So
Okay. So why did you tell us that one in the first place?
because you moved on. You moved on.
No, you had the floor and you went, I couldn't find anything Britt wanted, so I did like 17 parlays of things I think would
That was
happen.
before we started recording. But anyway, it's a combo one. It's the Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl and Jalen Hurts to win the Super Bowl MVP. That could happen.
That could happen.
What's the payout? Plus
reasonable.
5,000?
Plus 5,000.
My nephew would make that bet. He's a big Jalen Hurts kid. He's also 8, but so he can't really do it. But
I was betting when I was 8.
not legally on the internet because the internet didn't exist when we were 8.
Okay, illegally, but I was still doing it.
Oh, slips. Oh God.
What do we got next on the agenda?
I don't know. You're up. What do you got for us?
Well, you want to know what one player was?
No. Don't take my topics. You're supposed to bring topics to the table.
I was supposed to bring topics to the table.
You have nothing. Craig, what do you got for us tonight?
I got a topic.
Oh God!
Cinch,
Cinch,
you.
Go.
Thank you for bailing us. Listen, this is like the 7th year we have done this roundtable, and every year I'm like, guys, bring 1 or 2 things you want to talk about, and I'll just call on you. And then this is like Sean's like, I'm supposed to bring a topic? No,
right.
You're just supposed to sit there and look pretty. I don't know.
I got a topic. So I've preached for many years before this podcast even existed. I've preached rule number 1: you're nothing without a quarterback. That is my rule
true.
for NFL teams. But now I'm talking about fantasy football. The quarterback position is insignificant. If you don't get one of the top, we'll call it the top 3 positions, top 3 players. If you don't get that guy in the top tier, if you're not willing to, in round 1 or 2, draft this quarterback, it's fine. There's 15, 20 of them that are going to get you the same amount of points.
True.
All right. Well, I mean, if you just say true, we're done with that topic.
No,
There's no argument. There's nothing.
I'm not sure it's just 3. I would go further than that.
Well,
But there's
who would you
definitely-
say?
There's
Who would you
definitely
say
a
is the
pair.
top tier?
Top tier. Allen, Hurts, Mahomes. I mean, that to me, there's like another sub tier to that 1A that would be probably Lamar, and then and I know people are gonna, but I think Kyler could be there as well this year. So those are my 5 that I would take earlier.
What I would say to further the discussion or argue with you, or however, I'm not sure how to say it. Okay, so you mentioned Kyler. I argue the point with Kyler to say Anthony Richardson or Kyler. Is there one that's significantly better than the other? I think they're, I don't want to say equal, but in the same grouping. I say Aaron Rodgers is in that same grouping. I say Stafford is in that same grouping. I think Tua, I think Dak, Taylor Lawrence, Herbert, Purdy.
I think
all these guys are in that same area.
I think you've gone a little further down with some of those other guys. I think
Bo Nix.
So let me jump in at this point and kind of put some statistics to what Cinch is saying. I have in front of me right now the Fantasy Pros predicted fantasy points. They have Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen over 350 fantasy points this year. After that, there is 7 other guys that are going to score at least 300 points in their projections. Now, when you think about it, oh, that's 50 extra points. I'm going to lose 50 points between Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow. That sucks. 50 points over 17 games is roughly 2.5 points a game, guy. 38 versus 35.5 ain't winning you a championship in most conditions. So, to his point, there's these 2 guys on the top of their list, and they're up over 350. But then there's 10 guys over 300 total. And then if you get down into the 200s, even if you go down to 275, now the list is down to almost 15 people. So what you're telling me is that there is less than 100 points or less than 9 points per week between the number 1 quarterback and the number 18, 19 quarterback on the list. That over the course of a season is not a lot unless you're losing all your games by 2 or 3 points. So to Cinch's point, the quarterbacks are tight. So why would you pay up for a Jalen Hurts that you're going to have to get in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round when you can get Trevor Lawrence in round 7 or 8?
If you can get a 3-point advantage on your opponent by having one player, I think that's, compared to all their other players, I think that's a very big advantage.
Okay, let me jump in. I'm sorry, Sean, to interrupt you. So what you're saying is you would rather, for the sake of Britt just brought up Hurts, you would rather have Hurts and let's take a running back lower down, Hurts and Christian Kirk, or would you rather have a guy like Kirk Cousins, say, or would you rather have Kirk Cousins and Garrett Wilson? You know, you say the 3 points with the quarterback, but when you're saying the wide receiver that's going in the top 10 compared to the wide receiver that's going in maybe the 25 to 30 range, I think you're a safer bet going high on wide receiver and lower on quarterback.
But yeah, the players you were mentioning, though, were not in the same area of ADP to where I would have to worry about that.
Well, the point I'm making is the top 3
the one quarterback, even the best quarterbacks aren't going to the 5th round. So I'm still going to get Garrett Wilson.
See, I disagree with that. You're telling me the best quarterback's not going to the 5th round? I guarantee
maybe 4th round.
I guarantee you that Allen, Mahomes, Lamar, and Hurts will be gone in the top 3 rounds. I guarantee it.
Okay.
Because I'm drafting all 4 of them.
Quarterback 12-team league?
That's what I'm saying. Because you know how it is. All it takes is that one guy, that one Jalen Hurts fan, that one Eagles fan in round 1 to take Hurts, and then everybody gets nervous and says, "Oh, it's a quarterback run. I got to take a quarterback." And then it just takes that one guy that's an Allen fan. Now Allen's gone, and everybody else is like, "Well, shit, if I want Mahomes, I have to take him right now." And that's what happens.
So to the Cinch's point, I'm looking right now at, again, Fantasy Pros, their draft rankings, and so in a 12-team league, the first 3 rounds is the first 36 picks, right?
Sure.
So to Cinch's point, according to their draft wizard ranking, the top 4 QBs are off the board at the end of round 3. Mahomes, Jackson, Hurts, and Allen are all off the board at the end of round 3.
Okay.
To answer the point of, like, well, wait a minute, they're not going to go that early. Yeah, in some drafts they are, We see Lamar Jackson going like right after Travis Kelce in some drafts.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm always going to let the draft fall to me. If I feel like they're the best player, I'm going to pick them. But and I'm getting the value I need. But if not, then I'm going to go and wait on, like, say, a Kyler Murray who's not getting picked he's the 7th, 8th quarterback being taken.
But that's exactly what he's saying.
I'll
That's
take
kind of what he's saying.
You're making my point.
Yeah, you're kind of making his point now.
No, because I will go after the quarterback
in the top 3.
Third round.
My only point, Sean, was that if you don't draft one of these top 3 or 4 guys, you may as well wait until the 14th round or the 12th round, because you could still get a guy
like Mac
that's
Jones.
going to be the 5th guy. We're just going to call the top tier the top 4. I'm saying the 5th guy to the 15th or 16th guy are basically the same. And if you're in a 10-team league or a 12-team league, chances are you're going to have, call it 8 rounds, call it 10 rounds. You're going to have one quarterback on for every team. So if you didn't draft one, you're going to be drafting the 10th quarterback, the 12th quarterback in round 10. And I'm saying that 12th ranked quarterback, like for our group, we came together and our 12th ranked guy is Tua. Mm-hmm. If you're taking Tua in round 10, I think that's a good pick. I think Tua is just as good as Stroud will be this year. Tua will be just as good as Murray will be this year. That's the only point I was making.
That's opinion, right? That's your opinion right there. I do not agree with that.
Okay, well, if I didn't have any opinion, there's no point in being on the podcast.
Yeah, no. But I'm just saying, also, you can't be afraid to go up and get the guy you want at a reasonable spot.
Is Craig back from the liquor store? Craig, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, Craig, what is your thought on this? Jump in on this and weigh in.
Yeah, no, I do agree. If you're in a 10-person league like we are, there's not much of a reason to jump up to get one of the top 2 quarterbacks. It's almost the same as the tight ends in our league. Like, if you don't get Kelce or what's his face in Baltimore, or Laporta.
Laporta, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't get one of those 3, if you wait till the 7th round to draft Jonnu Smith, does it really matter? No. So, So yeah, unless you really want someone or you're really confident about that guy you want to draft right there and you don't think he's going to be there in the next round or 2, then yeah, of course, draft him. But do you have to? No.
Hey, let me jump in with a fun fact. Jonnu Smith had more runs from inside the 5-yard line last season than Breece Hall did.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
Breece Hall had one touch. He had one handoff, one run from inside the 5 all season long.
Did he get a touchdown?
I wasn't there. I don't know.
Oh. I'm gonna use this opportunity to pivot really quickly, and Craig, we're gonna come to you in a second. The more and more I think about the running back situation, the more and more shaky I feel on Breece Hall and Bijan Robinson. And I heard a stat today on SiriusXM Fantasy Radio, I think it was Fantasy Life, that there's a new thing they're tracking now, which is performance in injury-free games. So a game where a guy does not get a designation at any point during the game. Last year, Bijan Robinson only broke 50 yards in 12 of his 16, or failed to break 50 yards in 12 of his 16 games. Injury-free games. Apparently had a game where he left for some time for an injury. But like most of the time, he does not get a lot of carries, and Tyler Algier is kind of lurking in the background. And I'm just starting to think to myself, how much do I trust these guys who are both in the top 5 on our rankings?
I'll blame Arthur Smith on that one. I mean, there's no reason that Algier should have been having that many carries. I agree you have to spell your workhorse, but that's a product of that. And everyone, I mean, I know everyone's speculating, but everyone's speculating with the change in head coaching that Bijan's going to play a much larger role. Kyle Pitts is going to play a much bigger role. Drake London is going to play a much bigger role. he's going to get it to they're going to get their stars involved more than what Arthur Smith did.
Yeah, but the problem is the second and third person you mentioned are receivers, and with Kirk Cousins there, is Bijan going to have as many opportunities to run because Kurt is just going to launch the ball?
No,
you like that
in Minnesota?
Yeah,
who's in Minnesota?
Cook had
Aaron Jones. What are we talking about?
Because Kirk Cousins was in Minnesota.
yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Not James, the other one. Dalvin Cook had a great career in Minnesota with Kirk there. So I don't agree with that.
Yeah, different coach though, but yeah.
I'm starting to worry. So this is the question I just want to ask really quickly because we got to get to Craig's thing next. Is anybody else worried about somebody in the top 3? Like I have zero confidence in Breece Hall, and I'm starting to worry about Bijan Robinson. Craig, are you worried about anybody that's really highly projected? Just kind of like, maybe I'm starting to rethink where I looked at this.
In my projections, or just in ours?
Or in general, or in ADP, in yours. Is there anybody you're giving a second thought of that you had really high?
I mean, I have him high, but I'm still iffy with McCaffrey. Like, I'm iffy with the 49ers in general. And again, I know he was mostly okay last year, but I don't know. He's going to sneeze wrong like week 2, and he's going to be out for 8 weeks. I don't know. It's the bad feeling for me with him.
Cinch, anybody highly ranked? I mean, and we already know that you took a pass earlier in the season on Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow was never in no one's top 3. Is there anybody like at the top of the list you're looking at and you're like, man, I don't know about this?
I'll jump to wide receiver.
Do it.
And it's a stretch because I would draft this guy high. So it's in the back of my mind, not in the front of my mind. CeeDee Lamb, let's all stop for a second. Remember their last game. Green Bay went into Dallas and kicked the snot out of them. Yeah. And Lamb was screaming on the sidelines, and Dak is throwing pick sixes. And by halftime, that game was over.
I remember.
Yep.
Now, the media loves Dallas. Everything is forgotten. We're all good to go. They're going to be in the Super Bowl. It's week 1. Here we go. Well, if things don't go well, you're talking about an entire coaching staff that only had a contract for this season because as rich as Jerry Jones is, he's cheap and he doesn't want to pay the coaches. So that entire coaching staff, at the end of the season, they're all free agents. So
and most of the players.
I'm just saying, if the shit hits the fan, if things don't work out, if CD gets a pulled hamstring, something like that, and he misses 2 games, and all of a sudden Dallas gets overrun in 2 games and loses them, I could see a lot of fighting behind the scenes. I'm just saying, I could see if I had to pick one guy in the top 3 or 4 of all the position rankings that I'm a little bit worried about, it would be CeeDee Lamb.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
And let's not forget, he's not even he's kind of holding out because he's not signed yet.
And that's the other thing. Yeah, he's
I mean, for me, that's a big issue for CeeDee Lamb. Christian McCaffrey. Okay, you could go with Craig. He's injured. He hasn't been injured much lately, but he's also hitting that 30-year-old mark. He had a lot of usage last year. They've talked about cutting down on his usage. Is he going to be the number 1 player this year? Tyreek Hill, also, kind of thinking of retiring. I want to be a porn star.
Wait,
Wait, what?
I missed that one.
This is what he's talked about in off season and stuff like that. He's committed to playing. He got a new contract, but he is also getting at that age. He was injured last year at the end of the year. He was kind of like streaky last year as well. So it's kind of hard. I had him, and that's how I know it was like up and then down, up and then down, and 200 yards here. But his greatest week last year was week 1. So,
okay, can you just back up for 1 second?
Sure.
He wants to. He joked about being a what?
He wants to be a porn star.
Okay, that just had to be done.
All right, Let me jump in real quick. If no one looked it up, I did, but if no one looked it up, how old do you think Christian McCaffrey is?
28.
29, I believe.
I'll go with 28.
Craig's gonna be 30. Do I hear
he
30?
just
Do I hear
he
$1?
just turned 28 in June. So
Oh.
this is his 28-year season. I'm just saying they have said that pro athletes, the prime of your career is 28 to 32. I think for a running back, you might knock that down a couple of years.
Yep.
But I still think McCaffrey's got at least a year in him. I mean, the stuff that he does, whether you want to credit Shanahan's system or the players around him, between him and Kittle and Ayuk and Debo, they've turned Purdy into a top 10 quarterback. So
see, and that's the other thing that bothers me in San Francisco is all the drama happening with Ayuk. So
I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, but so all right, so he's going to turn into Stephon Diggs and hate his job and be like, screw all of you.
I can bring something to the table here because again, listening, as much as I consider myself a armchair expert, and we've done this for 8 years now, I do love listening to other experts. Here's what I'm hearing, and this is all conjecture based on beat reporter stuff. And you guys tell me. So the 2-second question, because we got to still get to Craig, is do you believe this or not? It'll be a quick yes or no. His theory was he came to San Francisco during the offseason and said, you guys got to give me more money. I'm top level. I would be making much more anywhere else. And San Francisco basically said, prove it. We'll give you the permission to go seek out a trade and a new contract. You come back here with somebody who will take you and pay you what you want, and we'll work out a deal. And then he went out and hit the road, so to speak, and like only 2 or 3 teams came back at all. And one of them was the Pittsburgh Steelers, who came back with the closest offer to what he was looking for. But then Bro stopped and went, Steelers couldn't win a cooking contest. I don't know if I would want to go to the Steelers. And then all of a sudden he started thinking about his window to win a championship. And so the Steelers came and said, hey, we're really interested. And the 49ers said, all right, let's talk about a deal. And then all of a sudden Ayuk went, whoa. Let's talk about this for a minute. The theory being is the Bro thought contenders would fight for him. And they clearly didn't. Do you guys believe that's what happened here?
Yes.
I believe a bit that's what happened. He chose the wrong time to do this. He chose it after every
It was a yes or no question, sir.
The free agency period, the draft. Okay.
It was a yes or no question. Okay. Cinch, do you believe that could have happened? That's why all of a sudden things went to kumbaya again?
Absolutely. And the other 2 teams were Cleveland and the Patriots. And when he thought I could go from the second or third best team in the league to either the worst team, Pittsburgh, maybe make the playoffs, maybe not. Cleveland, same scenario. Yeah, I think San Francisco said, what can you get? Go out on the market, see what you could get. And now they're going to pay him. I think before this season ends, he'll have a new deal with San Francisco.
Okay, don't make me go to the air horn. Your points are valid, but I got to get to Craig. Craig, what are you bringing to the table tonight? What do you want us to talk about?
Yeah, come on, Craig. There was a big build-up. This better not suck.
Well, all right, I'm going to go now, I guess.
No, you can't go until the air horn says you can go.
Come on, don't leave.
So my question for you guys is there was one team the last few years that people have always drafted players from, and that team is the Vikings. Now, this year, the Vikings, on paper, and possibly in reality, on video, they don't look that good at all. And now their rookie quarterback is dead.
The hell?
So
what?
What?
What? The Vikings are going to be bad?
So, like, in your minds, are like Hawkinson and Jefferson, like, are they even worth picking now? Are they worth like a top 5 pick at this point?
2-second answer, no. Next.
Jefferson still high. Hawkinson injury, no.
Jefferson.
What do you think of the Vikings?
Jefferson is QB proof. I would take him whenever you get the chance to take him. Hawkinson dropped because of the injury. I think a lot about their coach. I think he's a good coach. I don't think Minnesota's like a 5-win team. I think they'll win about 8.
Jefferson is still like our WR5 for me.
So I'll jump in here because Cinch brought up a great point. Jefferson is quarterback proof. This is going to be a huge test of that statement because his quarterback is going to be Sam Darnold all year long. And maybe Cinch is right. You know what? Week 14, I go to a bar to have drinks with you guys. All Cinch has to do is walk in and put his arms out in kind of like a Larry David, like, come on motion. And I got to buy him a beer because he was right. But I have so little faith in Sam Darnold. Well, what happens if they replace Sam Darnold? It'll be Nick Mullins. So
remember him?
Unfortunately, we do. Actually, the entire quarterback roster of the Minnesota Vikings is like, oh, geez, that's where that guy is. That's their entire roster because J.J. McCarthy is done for the year. So I want to believe Cinch is right, but I'm fading Jefferson personally just because And you know what? I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong and Cinch is right that he's QB proof.
Here's my question. How far are you fading him? Because I'm fading him from with like Kirk Cousins being wide receiver 1 to with Darnold, wide receiver 5.
Remember, he was a first round pick, and his arm is very rested now. I guess.
I would have him honestly. I'm looking at my own rankings. I probably have Jefferson now from 3 to 6. I probably move Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Chase, and AJ Brown ahead of him.
So to me, I mean, that's still pretty per QB proof to me. I mean, even with that,
because I haven't seen it. And I think Cinch has a valid point. The Vikings have been bad for a long time. Every year we're like, this is going to be the year the Vikings. Oh, remember 3 or 4 years ago, Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins, Stephon Diggs, and the rookie Justin Jefferson. And everybody was like, oh my God, this wrestling promo's awesome. I'm totally buying in on the fucking Minnesota Vikings. And it has never materialized. Ever. And so I believe Jefferson could put up numbers, but Jefferson could put up numbers because Sam Darnold completes 18 of 50 and he catches 15 of them.
True.
Hey, let me say the Vikings schedule really quick. I'll just run through it. We don't have to like count wins or anything.
Count wins in your mind.
Okay.
Guys.
They're at the Giants, home to the 49ers, home against the Texans, at the Packers, home for the Jets, home for the Lions, at the Rams, home for the Colts, at the Jags, at the Titans, at the Bears, home for the Cardinals, home for the Falcons, home for the Bears, at Seattle, home for the Packers, at the Lions. I could see him getting. See,
one
you know
win?
what?
I got 7.
I got 1.
You got one
win?
Says the Bears fan.
It's going to be Bears at home, right? That's the one game they win?
No, the Giants. That's it.
You have them at 1-16? Seriously? Even I'm not that cruel.
You know what? Sometimes when we're doing this, you got to forget about last season. Like, if you think the Jets are good, you got to forget last season because they were bad.
True.
Or, okay, so then you see the Jets and you say, Vikings, Jets, yeah, that could be a win. But my point is, and then you get to the last game of the year at the Lions, maybe the Lions have everything wrapped up. Maybe...
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in the final week of the season, sometimes an easy loss becomes a win because the other team doesn't care.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying Minnesota's making the playoffs. I'm just saying I don't think they're a 5-win team.
I've got them at 5. Craig's got them at 7. Sean's got them at 1. Cinch, what would you give them?
To be completely honest, I wasn't paying attention because I was reading it.
That's fair.
So if I had to go back, you go ahead and talk, and I'll give you the number in a second.
Okay. He said not 5, so there we go.
He thinks higher than 5, and that's good enough for me.
No, lower.
He said lower than 5? He doesn't think they're going to reach the...
I thought he said higher.
He's counting.
I'm doing the math right now.
Craig, did we ever get to your point?
My point is, I want to know if you guys were dropping people in Minnesota due to the changes and injuries.
Oh, that's right. You started this whole conversation. I'm 2 beers in. Leave me alone.
Truthfully, to me, for skill positions, there's not many people that, other than Jefferson and Hawkinson, who are you? I mean,
would you draft Sam Darnold?
Jordan Addison?
He's
Jordan,
done.
No.
He's out.
Addison.
Well, my number was 8. I came up with 8 wins.
That's much more optimistic than some of us.
Much more.
Let me ask you this real quick. Do you think the Bears sweep the Vikings in both games?
No, I'm split.
Same.
I tend to do splits, but I feel like the Bears can win both. Yes.
Now, based on what, other than you're a Bears fan? Because they haven't shown it in the last couple of years. You've got a rookie quarterback. I'm not saying
Sam Darnold.
I'm not saying that they're not going to win both. I'm just saying you're basing that on I like the rookie quarterback. I like the team. They're going to be better. I'm not telling you Minnesota's going to win. I'm just saying your Bears confidence is from being a Bears fan.
It's all going to depend on Caleb Williams. The rest of the team, if they had not a rookie and I don't even you want to go with a mid-tier quarterback, I don't know where that is.
Have DJ Moore play quarterback? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If they have one DJ Moore. But anyway, with that roster, yes, they should. If it's all going to depend on Caleb Williams. Let's just put it that way. If he plays well, they will win. If he doesn't, they won't.
Can I just jump in?
A split, they'll win at home and lose at Minnesota.
Can I just jump in and tell you the best part of these episodes is that every time Sean and Cinch get into a discussion like this, I know I have a bathroom break. I literally just sat back down.
Depends.
It depends on the episode, or I need to start wearing them. Either way, it's fine. So, okay. Sean, did you ever come up with a topic you wanted to discuss, or are you completely useless?
I'm completely useless.
At least he's honest, folks.
Okay, so then I am going to bring up something. So we got one more, and then we'll do final thoughts. Fantasy Pros put out an article today entitled RB3s with the potential to become RB1s.
Okay.
No discussion on my part. I'm just going to give you guys these names. You tell me, there's 4 names here. Which of these guys is most likely to be top 12 at running back? Not is going to be, but has the best potential. Rico Dowdle in Dallas. I don't even know if I said his name right. Jalen Wright in Miami. J.K. Dobbins in L.A.
God.
Or Najee Harris in Pittsburgh.
Oh, God.
So, Sean, there's 4 names. I'm going to do them again because I already know Sean forgot the first names already.
No,
Rico
I got
Dowdle, Jalen Wright, J.K. Dobbins, or Najee Harris. Which one is most likely? If I told you one of these 4 guys was definitely going to be a top 12 running back, making them an RB1, which one would you guess? Let's start with Sean.
It's Najee Harris, no doubt. Easy. He will, and Jalen Warren's already injured. He was already going to be just splitting time. He can win if he ends up proving that he can just win out that spot. Then while he's injured, then he's going to definitely be able to do that.
Okay. Cinch, who do you like on that list?
I reject your question because I don't think any of those 4 will. But I'll drop down even further in the rankings to come up with a guy.
Okay, I'll take that.
The backup running back for Kyren Williams with the Rams, Blake Corum. I think he could be a guy that jumps up out of nowhere. All it would take would be a Kyren Williams injury. And then this guy's pushed to the front, and I think he's got the ability, he's got the potential, he just needs the opportunity.
Craig, I already know your answer, but tell me.
It's not Najee Harris because the Steelers do not like him. They wish they locked him. They wish they locked him out of the building. I just don't think he's going to be there.
What was the Cowboy coach that refused to leave? So they just
what's the dude that used to be a quarterback?
The Clapper.
What's his name? He's on TV now. Oh, damn it!
He's terrible on TV too.
What the hell's his name though?
Who's that guy?
All he would do after a play is stand there and clap. He would never call in a play.
Damn it!
He would never contribute.
Oh, we're all drawing a blank on it.
No, I'm not drawing a blank. I've wiped him from memory because he doesn't deserve to be there. I have other more important things to remember.
Do you?
Where are my car
Jason
keys?
Garrett.
I need to know that.
It's Jason
I
Garrett.
don't need to know Jason Garrett's name. If you've seen him on TV, he's the guy.
Do you know he was there? He was there for 10 seasons
as a coach.
He's the guy
as the head coach.
TV
yes.
that says the team that wins the turnover battle will win the game. Well, no shit. Duh.
Here,
Bill-
you know what? I have an amazing strategy for predicting winners. The team that scores the most points wins 100% of all games.
It's true. Like, really quick, but like, so 2003 to 2006 was Parcells. 2007, 2010 was Wade Phillips. Remember him? 2010 to 2019 was Jason Garrett. And then 2020 to now is Mike McCarthy. So it's not looking good for Mike McCarthy right now.
Wade Phillips, for all you wrestling fans out there, was a Percy Pringle impersonator in his spare time, otherwise known as Paul Bearer.
Yes.
So,
And Jason Garrett was the original Donald Trump because he thought that he didn't lose and he didn't lose his job and they fired him. And he was in the office for like 2 or 3 days afterwards saying, no, I'm the head coach. And they're like, no, we fired you.
People tell me all the time, they come up to me and say, sir, you call the most brilliant plays I've ever seen. Your quarterback is clearly superior. Everybody knows it. I know it. You know it. It's the truth. It's just people come up to me with tears in their eyes and go, they should have never fired you in Dallas. I'm sure you quit before they could fire you because no one would ever fire you, sir. So, Craig, we got sidetracked. You never answered the question.
Sorry. All right. Who name the 4 again, other than Najee Harris?
Absolutely. So Najee Harris, J.K. Dobbins, Jalen Wright, and Rico Dowdle.
All right. In my heart, I want it to be Dobbins, but Lord help him to make it through like 8 games. It's going to be.
For sure you're going to go Jalen Wright.
Yeah, that's who I'm going to say is Jalen Wright. I think he's got the most potential, especially to step up if A-Chain gets hurt and the offense he's on. What?
Say again?
He's an injury, yes, definitely.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing. I'm looking at it and I'm like, Devon A-Chain's in front of him. He's been hurt. Mostert's in front of him. He's been hurt. And Craig is so injury acute that he's going to be like Jalen Wright.
So my other thought on that, about people being hurt and stuff like that someone could come up.
Got the answer.
Trey Benson from Arizona. Connor, according to, not according to Craig, but he likes to complain about him. Connor is always hurt. So Benson could, if he's hurt for the year, Benson is going to be the bell cow there.
Hey, listen, James Conner is jumping out of pools, son.
That's right.
That's happened.
So is Nick Chubb, okay?
The Nick Chubb situation, really quick. The Cleveland backfield situation is starting to get really interesting to me. Really interesting because I don't know when he's going to be available. And I'm starting to wonder if Jerome Ford isn't a sneaky pick.
Oh, definitely for me. I've been kind of sneaking him up. I mean, Nick Chubb's going ahead of him in quite a few drafts. So having him as my 4th running back, no brainer.
How early is too early to go reach for Jerome Ford? Really quick around the room, starting with Sean.
You talking about rounds? Oh my God, I still would go like more than 10th round.
All right, 10th round. Cinch, how early is too early to go reaching for Jerome Ford?
For me, he's the back of the draft. So if you're going round 12, I'll say. Okay. Yeah, I think Craig. He goes in like round 14.
Okay, Craig.
Yeah, I would say same as Sean, like 10. Anything before 10. 10 or before 10, yes.
He's absolutely not in the first 10 rounds.
Right.
No question. He's a reach. But he's a reach with looking at when you start to get to where you're drafting people just based on them having a cool name, like Yancey Thigpen. Gentlemen, believe it or not, we are out of time. Our first roundtable of the season. I am halfway through my 3rd beer, I think. Yes, because I only brought 3 with me. It's time for final thoughts. Let's start with Sean. Sean, what's your final thought that you want people to know before they go into drafts?
Before you go into drafts, have a plan. Have your tiers, but you can't be rattled when you get sniped. You have your plan. You have your tiers to be ready for things like that to happen.
Hold on. Are you kidding? Nobody gets more rattled when they get sniped than you. Every year I draft in front of him, 3 or 4 times he bitches at me.
Oh, you taking people is not being not prepared. It's just razzing at you.
Yeah, but saying you can't be upset when you get sniped You get sniped all the time, and all I do is hear
That's
about
like
it.
rattled when you get sniped.
Oh,
Upset.
okay,
You could be
sorry, I misunderstood. Go on.
and just remember, it's all about fun. You're with your buddies. You're doing it, and it's a good time. So always just have fun, and that's what makes a good live draft is being with all the people that you don't get to see all the time.
True. Cinch, what do you want our viewers to know after the first round table?
It's not about fun. It's about winning. You play to win the game.
Ow.
Don't go there and have drinks and have fun with your friends. Go there and crush your friends. Your closest friend should be crying at the end of the season. It's all about that.
Wow.
Last final quick thought. When it comes to quarterbacks, if you don't get the top 2, the top 3, don't worry about it. Tight ends, 10-team league, 12-team league, there's probably 12 pretty good tight ends. Another one, don't worry about it. And don't draft a kicker or defense until the last 2 rounds.
I think Cinch has to leave now to put on a military helmet and go drive a tank after that final thought. So, Craig, what's your final thought tonight?
Final thought is a combination of the last 2, where you know what, just go and have fun, let the draft come to you. But you know, if you really want to win, you probably should pay attention to the draft board at least in the first 5 to 8 rounds, and then really start drinking after that. Because after round 10, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't really matter.
Incorrect. I start drinking before the draft begins, and it makes it much more enjoyable for me.
Brett buys shots, tries to get me, rattled.
Yeah. I just hope every year when the draft, because this particular league we're all in together, what we call the live league, we don't find out draft order until night of, and all I hope is that I don't draft right in front of Sean. That's all I hope, because it's going to be 2 or 3 times during the night. He's going to look at me, God damn it, you took the one gut. Okay, sorry. Sorry I drafted the best available. Sorry. My advice is, as we go into draft season, you heard some really good advice from our guys tonight. We are a much more lighthearted podcast than some of the more hardcore folks. This is the time of year I turn on fantasy radio and all I hear is, I have a 12-team keeper league where I have to give up the 3rd pick higher than what I keep. And I have the following 16 people I can keep. Guys, this is as Craig said, this is supposed to be fun. Go with your gut. Trust yourself. Do some research, which I'm sure you've done if you're calling in to fantasy football shows and prepare to read off your entire roster. I have 6 running backs. They're Nick Chubb, Jerome Ford, Naheem Hines, Giovanni Ricci. No one cares.
They
After
suck.
you get past the top 3, you're not keeping Giovanni Ricci. Okay, just go and enjoy it. I will disagree with Cinch in that as much as he wants to crush the souls of his enemies under his foot like a communist regime, it's about
best
having
friends.
a good time.
You want to crush
As much
your
as he wants to
best
crush
friend.
his friends under his heel like a communist regime, enjoy the moment, enjoy the ride. There is no right or wrong answer in a draft. Never forget that. There is no right or wrong answer in a draft. There is a right answer if you're listening to us right now, though, and that is to leave us a review. Whatever podcast directory you found us on, most likely it's Apple. Please leave us a review. We love to read them. We'd also love to hear from you. We have one more roundtable left next week. So if you're listening to this on or around the 22nd of August in 2024, and you want to submit a question, we are fignutsdfs@gmail.com. Please just email us there. All our socials suck. Oh, God, I went on Twitter today.
That's a terrible mistake.
I feel like I'm in AA now, confessing I just went on a bender. I was in Twitter. I read some articles, man. I'm sorry. I was weak.
Saw some things.
That's what it is. I saw some things, man. Some things you wouldn't believe. But anyway, we will be back next week. One more roundtable. So if you have questions, send them to us. But until then, my name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Cinch. Shout out to all the dogs out there listening to the podcast. Who's a good boy? You are. Good night, Cleveland, right. Wherever you are.
That's right, Scarlett. Thank you. Hi, Scarlett. Hi, Deb. And we will see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.